Hi everyone, welcome to our live stream. Today I'm going to be talking to the Fred effect. So please, hi. So today we are privileged to have our guest in our studio today. He has been able to successfully assist over 500. I mean, 500 is just an estimation of the number of people, but I believe he's going to tell us the number of people he has assisted so far to travel abroad. I am a proud product of his, should I call it school or um, his group, and he assisted me in 2021, 2022 to pursue my master's in the United States. And so today I'm going to be live with him here. We're going to chat about studying abroad, everything that you need to know, getting to know him personally as well. And so please join me as I welcome our guest into the studio today. His name is Frederick Kweku Ejapon, but most people know him as the Fred Effect, and he's just impacting lives and changing lives and changing people's notions about studying abroad. So please welcome and join me. Welcome the Fred Effect into our studio today. Hi,
Hi, Irene.
hi, Fred. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you and nice to be here. Hi,
Nice.
everyone.
Hi, everyone. So, today we are going to be talking about studying abroad, specifically in the United States, because I believe that um, most people that you might have assisted might have been in the US. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, um, please tell us about yourself and also why you decided to take this path. So,
Right, everyone. My name is Fred. The brain behind the Fred effect. So, I am originally from Ghana. I did my high school education in Sunyani Senior High School. So if you are in Sunyani, you know the school very well, be mighty. And then I had opportunity to be at University of Cape Coast where I did my bachelor's degree, and afterwards I did my national service in Ghana Education Service. I was a teacher, and so I was posted to the northern part of Ghana. So afterwards, I was looking for opportunities, to work just like any graduate would do. And by then, I had a senior who was my teaching assistant back in UCC. And after, his national service, I was not able to get in touch with him again. And I noticed that via Facebook that he's schooling at Ohio University. So that sort of ignited my interest, to think that okay, I can also do it. I can also study abroad, and basically that is it. I have had opportunity to assist over thousands of people. The reason was because when I went through my process, I noticed that it was super easy. Anybody could do it, especially if I was able to do it. And so that is it, Irene.
okay, so thank you for sharing your story and telling us a little bit about yourself. I realized you said that you were a teacher with Ghana Education Service. How long did you teach there, and which class were you teaching, if that's the right word to use?
So I was posted to Bole Bamboy. For national service, it's for a year. And so I taught for a year, and in the community where I was, Tenga, there was a high school which was coming up, and there was also a primary school which I was posted as. I was teaching English and ICT
Mm.
then, and then I was teaching a different subject at the high school as well. So I was alternating between the high school and then the primary school. So that was it.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know where Boy is, could you tell us specifically where in Ghana Boy is so they can get the concept and the picture of where you're coming from?
Right. So Bole Bamboy is like the biggest district in Ghana. It spans from, so many people think Bole Bamboy is a city. No, Bole is a different city from Bamboy. And so the distance from Bole to Bamboy, I don't know how to describe it, but it's super far. And there are a lot of communities within the stretch. And so I was in the sort of the middle, a community called Tinga. And so back then it was the northern region, but now I think it's the savannah region. And so from Techiman, Wenchi, that is where you enter into Bamboy, then Taselima, Carpenter, Tenga, Bandang Kwanta, those stretch. So
Hmm.
those people who know those stretch, then they will definitely know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so little bit circling back to your educational background, University of Cape Coast. What did you study in the University of Cape Coast, and when you got into the US, what programs did you study so people can get?
Yeah, so I did social science. I started with math, economics, and geography by back then. And when I was done, that was where I did my national service and moved into a university, Ohio University. So at Ohio University, I did my first master's over there, and then I moved to University of Kentucky for a master's degree in public administration. So it has been high school, senior high school, University of Cape Coast, and I'm proud to say that the you know born out of wedlock was financially challenging.
Mm,
So shout outs to um Alhaji Muhammad Al Hassan. I didn't want to say Mister. He saw my high school results
mm,
and decided to take me to university for free. So I owe most of the things I do or whoever I've become to this man. And the fact that he was a Muslim and decided to
mm,
help me out,
mm,
take me to university for free without knowing me,
mhm,
my family member, stuff like that. So
mhm,
I really appreciate what he did, and that was why I was able to go to UCC in the first place.
mm,
So I really wanted to sort of um how do I put it? I really wanted to prove that his efforts wouldn't be in vain if he
mm.
invested in me, and I'm proud to say that he's happy I was able to pull through. So from UCC, that's where I got admission into Ohio University. That's after national service, moving to University of Cape Coast for my second masters. No,
So
University of Kentucky for my second masters. Yeah.
okay, so I think you have a very inspiring story, and the fact that you were able to get this far through kindness, right? And you are also using the same kindness as a stepping stone to make sure that you impact lives and change family narratives and things like that. I believe that is one of the key highlights for me about your story and getting to know you. So I think I must also say that you also assisted me here, and that story is something. Do you want me to share that story? So
Right. Yeah, yeah, go on.
I can share that story. So for those of you who do not know me, and you might have probably just realized that, oh, I'm studying in the US and things like that. I also, with the same zeal and passion that you had, saw people doing it. I also had that same zeal and passion, and I was like, oh, I think that at this point in my life, I needed to have like a change of um perspective. So I wanted to study abroad. And so I reached out to Fred. And when I reached out to him, he was like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need. I was like, oh, I already have it. And he's like, oh, okay. I can see that you are serious and you want to do this. So I think that it was through your kindness that got you here. And the fact that you're also using the same kindness to make sure that you change people's lives is one thing that I must applaud you for. And so thank you for doing that, not for only me and changing my life, my story, my narrative, but also millions of people who are out there watching you. So I wanted to know how your background and your personal experiences influence. So I think you kind of talked a little bit about that, but how, coming from a background where I know you mentioned out of wedlock, so um you what does that mean to you?
All right. So, you know, when people travel abroad, then mostly where we are from, we assume that maybe they had family members there, stuff like that. So technically, I did not have any family member when I wanted to travel to the US. Also, people think that it's super expensive, and I am from a very poor background. When I say poor background, I mean like there was no hope that I can also move abroad or maybe study abroad in the first place. Because imagine that your parents could not afford to take you to university. So
Mhm.
somebody did that, and then you can't also put the burden on that person to also take you abroad. Meanwhile, the person has kids and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
um, you know, my dad didn't take care of me, and so
Mhm.
I was raised by my mom. Had my fair share of staying with stepmoms,
Mhm.
grandmom, stuff like that, and then
Mhm.
finally living with the person who was taking care of my education back
Mhm.
in university. So when I decided to move abroad, I was purposely motivated by the fact that my teaching assistant, who was with me back in UCC, was not in Ghana, as at the time he finished with his national service. So his name is Isaac.
Mhm.
Shout outs to him. I linked up with him and I was like, how did you do it? So he was the one that asked me to send, you know, a direct an email to the director of the
Mhm.
program. So there were two programs. He
Mhm.
wanted me to look at geography and economics. And unfortunately for me, one program had the deadline already. The deadline had already elapsed. So
Mhm.
I got a positive feedback from the other program, and that's what led me to applying. So I keep on saying that in this process, you need a mentor. People have
Mhm.
done whatever you want to do. So
Mhm.
to be honest with you, the email he asked me to send really did the magic. As at then, national service allowance was 559. I
Mhm.
didn't have money, to pay for the application fee. And
Mhm.
when it comes to the application fee, not only having the money, but you
Mhm.
need a Visa card or Mastercard. But in Ghana, if you want your bank to issue a Mastercard or Visa card, one, you have to have a specific amount in your account. After then 559, you take
Mhm.
it and then you are surviving on that. So nothing like that. The second thing is that you need to have the amount on in your account in order to pay. So it wasn't financially sensible for me to get a Mastercard, which I
Mhm.
wouldn't be using for anything. There will be monthly deductions. So I
Yeah.
didn't even have the Mastercard to pay for my application fee by then. So I remember I linked up with a friend who was like, I know somebody who knows somebody who
Mhm.
has a Visa card. So send via mobile money and then
Mhm.
he will use it to pay for you. Now I could only afford to pay for one application fee. I remember I started a lot of
Mhm.
applications, but I didn't know as at then that you could simply send an email to
Mhm.
somebody and then the person will say that I'll waive the application fee for you. I
Mhm.
didn't know when I attend a webinar,
Mhm.
and the challenge was that as a teacher, a national service boy, bamboy, the only working network over there was MTN. I don't know if it's changed now. And so, sometimes I have to struggle, go to the highlands in the village to be able to get a stable network to even reply to an email. So,
Mhm.
my background sort of challenge me in Bole Bamboy, the way the sun shines, it will make you think, right? Like,
Yeah.
the environment was very different for me growing up in the southern part of the country. That was my first time going to the northern part, and it taught me a lot. You have a different perspective to life when you see people you have never met in your life, and their way of life, their food, everything is different from what you used to know at in the southern part. I don't
Mhm.
know if I answered your question, but
Yes, yes, you
yeah.
did. And I think that you did mention or talk about some helpful things that I want us to talk about more in details as we move on and progress through the interview. So, for somebody who is wanting to start this study abroad journey or this process, what do you think that they need? Because I know you had obviously mentioned that before, that you did not know that they needed to send an email, send maybe get whatever they need. So for somebody who is watching us today and is wanting, because I know that most people are of the perception that studying abroad is very expensive and you cannot do it. It's time consuming, it's very stressful, and you just cannot do it. So for somebody who's watching us now, from this is from an expert, this is from somebody who has been through the process, done that, and provided got some results from this, what do you think that people need when they're starting this?
Yeah, this is a brilliant question. So I think the first thing people need is the spirit of perseverance and the I can do it spirit.
Mm,
So my environment proved that I shouldn't even think about wanting to move abroad. So
mhm,
I started working on my passport when I started thinking about studying abroad. So I didn't have a passport until I graduated from university, which I wouldn't encourage anybody to do it. So if
mhm,
you're in the university, please get a passport.
mhm,
It wouldn't cost you that much. Invest in getting one.
mhm,
So the whole vision that what would my life become if I have the opportunity to relocate to do my masters abroad, and the thinking about that made me to realize that okay, I could have a better life if
mhm,
I am able to relocate, because at the moment I'm in Bole Bamboy. I'm going to finish with national service. I've been applying for jobs, and the good thing about being a teacher is that you have a vacation. So when during the vacation, I type a lot of application letters. Even if you are selling coconuts and you want to take one, I will give it to you so that you think about employing me. So
mhm,
the struggle in not getting a job sort of inspired me to want to do this the more, right?
mhm,
So if you want to study abroad, it is possible. That is the first thing you need to know. Is it easy? No, it's not going to be easy.
mhm,
Is it going to be difficult? To be honest with you, that's the truth. But is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So if you have that, vision that it is possible, then you have to start putting your documents together. So
mhm,
I remember that I couldn't attend my UCC University of Cape Coast graduation. The reason was that I was then in Bole Bamboy do as a national service personnel. Now I had to sacrifice, coming for graduation and buying suits, or doing two things: using my money to buy sandals for the kids that I was teaching,
mhm,
and taking some of them to the hospital for an eye clinic and stuff like that, and then also using that money to go for my document.
mhm,
So I remember that it was a tough decision. Friends are calling you, Fred is graduation, are you pulling up, stuff like that? And then 559 has not arrived yet. So I have to wait and then get the money that I thought that if I use that to travel from the northern part of the country to UCC to go and take my document to work on my passport, that would be the perfect way for me. So I decided to sacrifice graduation suits, graduation transportation, and whatever in
even
order to
pictures.
in order to invest the money into the application process.
Mm,
So basically, if you want to study abroad, please just get at the back of your mind that even though people have done it, they were not successful. That is not
mm,
you. Even though people go for visa interview and they get denied, that is not you. You may
mm,
not know anybody abroad. And I remember when I got to New York, it was hell for me. I didn't know anybody here who is
mm,
even going to pick me from the airport. You don't necessarily have to know somebody there. Now, after you do that, then you need to make sure that you're putting your documents together. You
mm,
cannot work on any process if you don't have the document. So
mhm,
document, and then the tenacity and the resilience, like the drive to do it. That is
mhm.
all you need to get started.
Yeah. Thank you for this submission. I believe you're making very strong points and kind of inspiring and motivating people who want to go onto this journey. And so what I am picking as lessons from this is that you don't need to let your background or any challenges or limitations that you have on your life deter you from whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day you are looking at having something that is more greater and more good. And also another thing that I kind of got from this is that whatever you went through, you don't have to make sure that people go through the same struggle that you went through, because looking at your story, you didn't have anybody to pick you up, you didn't have anybody to help you, even though there were people that helped you, you didn't have any people body who was like there and somebody that you could fall back on. But now today you are somebody people can fall back on, and that's very, very motivating and inspiring. So quickly, if you can go over the documents for us, and if you are watching and you just joined, this is live chat, study abroad chat with the Fred Effect, and we have been talking about the desire to study abroad. And if you want to do this, you don't need to let your circumstances or whatever you're going through be a challenge or be something that would prevent you. So, quick, Fred, if you could quickly go over the documents that people need to have if they want to start this journey. What do they need?
Right. So if you want to study a bachelor's degree, the document is a little bit different from, studying a graduate program, a master's or a PhD.
Mhm.
Now, mostly in the US and Canada, if you have a high school or a diploma qualification, you can apply for a bachelor's degree. And so you need your certificate and transcript. Now, if you graduate from high school in Ghana, mostly you do not have an automatic transcript like graduating from a bachelor's degree. So you need to go to your high school and request for the transcript. You
Mm.
should have at least two letters of recommendation if you want to apply for a bachelor's degree. You should have your passport, obviously, and then an English proficiency letter. So you don't necessarily have to sit for IELTS or TOEFL. And then you can also have, I've mentioned recommendation letters. So certificate, the one you printed on the WIREC website or from your
Mm.
school, transcript. You should have a passport. You should have
Mm.
at least two letters of recommendation, and also an English proficiency letter. So this should be enough, depending on the university or college you want to apply to. Now, when it comes to graduate programs, is a little bit more. So you need to get your transcript, which shows that indeed you did this course and that course and stuff like that. And then you also need your certificate. For graduate program, most universities or colleges will require at least three letters of recommendation, and then you also need a passport. You need an English proficiency letter, a resume or CV, and also a statement of purpose. So once you're able to pull these documents together, then you go to a university's website, you start contacting the director of the program, then you can go ahead and apply.
Okay. So I like the fact that you talked about graduates and undergraduate education, because I know most people are usually talking about the fact that it's always graduates when it comes to study abroad, but the fact that it's also possible for undergrads to go through the process. And so, if you could go into details about what the undergraduate process is usually like when they start the application.
I wish I knew this when I graduated from high school in Ghana.
Yeah.
It's possible for you to come study for a bachelor's degree. And so, if you have a high school or diploma qualification, you can apply. So, mostly for undergraduate, I would, especially in the US, I would encourage people to opt for a private funded college or university.
Mm.
Now, it's super easy because you can simply link up with an admissions advisor on
Mm.
the university's website. Most of the undergraduate programs, there are no application fees that you have to pay, especially in the US. So you get these documents, you get sometimes the scratch card that is used to check WASI on
Mm.
results online. Then you go to the university's website, email an admissions officer or the HOD of the department. Now, if you're done with high school in Ghana or any other African country, you go pay for the forms and apply, hoping and praying that you'll be called. But here it doesn't work like that. You can even send your documents to the admissions advisor in advance,
Mm.
even before you start your application. They will evaluate it. They will let you know whether you qualify or not. So for the bachelor's degree application, you need to simply get the documents which are required, which I mentioned. So your WASI results, transcript, passport, two letters of recommendation, um, English proficiency letter, and then um, you have to email the admissions officer. So let's say I want to apply to maybe Hawking College. I
Mm.
go to Hawking College website. I
Mhm.
email the admissions officer that, hey, I'm interested in this program. Would you admit me? Is there scholarships for me as an international applicant? So they will let you
Mhm.
know if there is. If there is not, they will also let you know. Now, when you are done, you just have to create a portal and then go ahead and then apply.
Okay, so if you just joined us and you're watching, this is the Fred Effect, and he is giving us some vital information if you desire to study abroad and move here for either a bachelor's or an for a graduate education. So he just talked about the fact that it's possible for you to move here to do your um, bachelor's or undergraduate education, and it's also possible for you to come here and do your master's or PhD or whatever you want to do. And so this is what he is sharing with us today. And you are very fortunate because we didn't have this kind of knowledge, especially for undergrads who want to study abroad. We didn't have this kind of knowledge that we have right now. So thank you, Fred, for sharing that. So I'm going to move on and ask you some questions about graduate and undergraduate education specifically. So after you have gotten your documents, I know you kept on talking about sending emails. And what I also gathered from that is that there's a distinction between studying in Ghana and studying abroad. So studying abroad, you can email your program chairs in advance and ask them if you're going to be admitted or not. But in Ghana, you just apply blindly and you're waiting to be called. And so, what are some of the things apart from sending emails? So, if I send an email, what should I do next?
All right. So one thing is that in terms of graduate programs, I would suggest that people do not put their eggs in one basket. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you did bachelor's in economics, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can only apply for master's in economics. There are other related program, and it's great that Irene, you did a different program at the bachelor's level. Now you're studying, so it's highly possible. I
Mm-hmm.
am doing it something different in my second master. So you have to sort of open your wings. Don't limit yourself. Don't put your eggs in one basket. So you can definitely look at least five different programs related to what you studied. Now, when you send the emails, send to as many schools as possible because some of them may not respond. Others will respond and say that we can give you admission, but we do not have scholarships. So some of their responses are going to be negative, which is absolutely fine. Some of them will not even get to the professors, let alone for them to respond to you. And so that is also fine. So when you send as many as possible, you're going to get a response. And make sure that you are not asking questions which has already been listed on the university's website.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are asking questions, keep it brief. When somebody sends you a long test, it is even boring to read it. So
Mm-hmm.
keep it short. Introduce yourself academically. Talk about your interest in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Ask if you can be considered for admission, if you'll be considered for scholarship, and then you attach a copy of your transcript and resume to it. So when they have a review of it, they will let you know based on the courses you've taken, do you qualify to be admitted into such a program? So if they say yes, then yeah, you go ahead and then start your application. So another thing would be the uploading a statement of purpose. So
Yes.
the statement of purpose is written according to the program you want to study. So
Mm-hmm.
don't write a generic one, which is absolutely fine if you have one, but you have to also let monitor what the department website says they want you to write. So sometimes they mention statement of purpose, statement of intent. Make sure you are going according to their criteria. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do they want? 3 pages, 2 pages. What is the font size? What is the font type? So don't write a generic SOP and just upload it. It doesn't work like that. Take your time, read on the website if they have preferences on how your SOP should be or whatever document. Sometimes they will just say, write, about yourself. Don't necessarily write about SOP
Mm-hmm.
and SOP. Maybe a writing sample. It doesn't necessarily have to be an SOP. So it depends on what the university is requesting from you. That is what you're going to put there.
Yeah, so thank you for
Right.
sharing that. You mentioned writing a statement of intent, a statement of purpose, a writing sample. So, is there really like a difference between the statement of purpose and sometimes personal statements or statements of intent? Is there a difference between
Yeah,
those?
so the clear difference is normally, and thank you for asking. The clear difference is normally what the school intends want you to put into this document.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Southern Illinois University, for example, will give you something clear depending on the program that this and this is what we want you to cover. So try and stick to what they want you to cover. And it's okay if you write up something. It's not supposed to be perfect. Give it
Mm,
to somebody to review it for you.
okay.
This is what this university is what I'm applying to. This is the program. This is what they asked me to write. This is what I've been able to put together. Can you please review, go through for me? Let me know if I'm on the right track. So stick to what the university is asking you to write. And when it comes to writing sample, it's normally to dictate, to tell how good of a writer you are. Graduate school is about writing. So they want to know in your previous academic experiences, how good of a writer have you been that you qualify to be admitted into the program.
Mm. So, an example of a writing sample can be maybe an assignment that you did in school, or maybe a paper that you submitted to your professors for maybe any class activity. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay, so yes. So let's talk about getting into the university. After you've submitted all these documents, you have been admitted. What do you have to do next?
Right. So once you've been admitted, and we are restricting this to the US because
Mhm.
one is the country with the most, universities and colleges, and then the processes comparatively, it's easier, compared to other countries. So
Mm,
once you've been admitted into the program, normally it would either come with an automatic scholarship. So I have an experience of my first university giving me an automatic scholarship, when my admission came. My second university, I gained admission, and then later on I had to apply for the scholarship. So it depends on what your school gives you. Now,
mm,
if you're lucky, you have been given a scholarship already. All you need to do is to respond. There are instances where, some emails go to our spam box, so we don't see them. So some people have lost a lot of opportunities because they were not constantly checking their emails. Unfortunately or fortunately, email is the main means of communication when it comes to, in a professional way or in the education field. So you need to constantly be checking your email and be
mm.
monitoring it. So once you receive admission, depending on whether it came with scholarship or not, if a financial document is required, you send it to the international office. They issue a form that we call the I-20, and then you
Mm.
can use that to start your visa processes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So, I think it's very important that you talk about the email.
Right.
So, just to chip in a little bit, that I know most people usually have weird emails. So, like how people have funny nicknames and things like that that they use for their emails. And when you're sending an email to a professor or an advisor or someone in an academic position and you use that email, it doesn't make you sound very credible. So I think that, just to add on to what you're saying, people should kind of have like a different email with just their names and who they are. So if the person receives an email, they know like this is from Irene Luchos and not from maybe cool girl or nice girl at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's very important to emphasize on that.
Yeah.
I had somebody that I was assisting. The email was lastkiller@yahoo.com. Such emails doesn't speak well of you. So
Mm-hmm.
use your name. You can keep
Mm-hmm.
it short. You
Mm-hmm.
can use the abbreviations of your name.
Yeah.
These are the little things that may differentiate you from other people. So
Mm-hmm.
don't think that it's just cool to use any name,
Mm-hmm.
like what you said, cool girl at Gmail. That's not good. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I appreciate.
Yeah. So thank you. And so now, if you are watching us now, thank you for joining us wherever you're watching us from. Thank you for joining this live stream. We have the Fred Effect here, and he's giving us the bolts and nuts of studying abroad and everything that we need to know. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments section. And if you're watching me wherever you're watching me from, please make sure that you comment or type wherever you're watching me from. So, if you're watching from Ghana, please comment Ghana. If you're watching from the UK, United States, wherever, just so we can be interactive with the Fred Effect. I must say that he is a very scarce person to get onto to have an interview with. So those of you who, I'm sure he gets a lot of DMs and people say, "Oh, we send you messages and you don't respond," and things like that. So if you have the opportunity to have him here today, please make sure you send in all your comments and questions. Otherwise, you go and pay and talk to him. So please take advantage, which we will talk about later when I get to other things. So now we have sent an email, we have um, probably maybe received an admission from the school. What do we have to do next?
All right. So if you got a scholarship, great. If you didn't, then you have to email back. You know, initially when we started the process, we said that you need to email the director, ask if you want to if they will give you the opportunity to apply. So once you had admission without a scholarship, you have to return to this professor, express gratitude for being considered for the admission, and
Mhm,
also ask what other ways you can use, to get scholarship as well. And then, if you are through with that, then it means that you need to work on getting your I-20. Sometimes you may have a full scholarship, but you may be required to submit a financial statement.
mhm,
If your scholarship covers everything, then you may not need it as well. So when you get your I-20, that is after submitting either your scholarship letter or a bank statement to the admissions office, then you get your I-20. Once you get your I-20, you have to go and pay for the visa application fee. It
mm,
depends on which country you are. Then you start what we call the DS 160. So
mm,
if you hold an admission and then an I-20, you need and this is specifically to the US, you need three major websites. The first one is the DS 160 application. The second one is the appointment portal. The
mm,
third one is what we call the service fee payment website. So, once you are able to start the DS 160. If you're in Ghana and Nigeria, you pay for the visa application fee in a bank that you're supposed to. You schedule an interview date, and then you start preparing. That's from there. So the service fee payment website is fmjfee
mm.
.gov or something. FMJFee. Once you Google that, it will pull up. You generate your coupon. You get somebody in the US to make the payment for you.
Okay. So what about if you don't know anyone in the US? Are you still able to pay this fee?
That's a good question. So, normally, once you have admission, you are connected with an admissions officer. So, the director of the program or the international office advisor or the admissions advisor will link you up, with other students that you can interact with. Or there are instances where admission officers or the international office are able to pay the service fee for students as well. So that's highly possible.
Okay, so this process, is it also applicable for people who are going through the undergrad education, or they have a different process for
Y-
that?
Yes, so the undergrad works a similar way. Once you get admission, your scholarship comes, whether you are required to send a bank statement or not, and then you get your I-20. It's a similar process.
Okay, so thank you for letting us know that. So, what would you say is so at this point now we have sent letters, we have communicated by emailing and things like that. We have got admission, got all our forms, and we have started filling our DS 160. So, with the DS 160, what are you have been in this for a long time and you have some experience? What are some mistakes that you think people make when it comes with the DS 160 and even the service fee payment and the appointment portal? Let's talk about mistakes
Yes.
people make.
So when it comes to the DS 160, please understand that traveling abroad, it's not now like something you need to hide. People
Mm-hmm,
have been through the process. Try and talk to people. It's a bulky document. It's about 12 pages or so, or more, and then there's a likelihood that it could be an oversight. You may miss something. So the
mm-hmm,
common mistake is people not seeking for help. Once you are doing this, understand that other people have done it. You are not the only person who is going to study abroad for the first time.
mm-hmm,
People have done it, and people will continue to do it. Seek for help. Get somebody to go through your DS 160 for you. The second thing when it comes to the whole preparation is that once you receive admission and then you are preparing for the interview, understand that this is not a regular interview like a job interview. This may
mm-hmm,
be the first time you are meeting up with, a visa officer. There are videos out there. There are people who are sharing their experiences. Subscribe to Irene's channel. She shares how she went through the process so that you will be able to learn from people. So I think that when people have made mistakes, you shouldn't make them. You learn from those mistakes so that you can, go through whatever they couldn't go through, by learning from, their experience.
Yeah. So thank you for talking about that. You don't need to um, make the same mistakes people make. Talk to people. I mean, I understand that there are certain things that you don't want people to know. There are certain things that might be personal, like how you want to be with your friends, and by the time they realize you are in the US taking picture in the snow or something. But I mean, just get the right mentorship and the right advice that you need so you don't make mistakes. So just like Fred is saying, please seek for advice from other people and let them share their experiences with you. So with regards to that, what about the service fee payments? Are there any common mistakes that people make when it comes to? And even I know one of the things that people complain a lot about is not getting dates for appointments at the consulate. So if anybody finds themselves in that situation, what do they do? And even before that, what is the process to get a date to be able
Right.
to show up?
So depending on whichever country you are, the DS-160 is universal. But when it comes to getting an interview date, it differs from country to country. So if you are going to somewhere like Eswatini, you need to start the DS-160, choose a date before, you go to the embassy and pay. In Ghana, Nigeria, in Kenya, you need to pay the visa application fee, before you be able to select a date. So we
Mhm,
spoke about three major websites that you can use. The first one, the DS-160, which is the visa application itself, the appointment portal, or where you will select a date. So you create an account, you already have a DS-160 confirmation number, and so you put that in, and there will be a calendar that you'll be able to select a date. Now it is acknowledgeable that most sometimes getting a date is challenging. However, there are dates available.
mm,
When the date is even in 2025, please select it.
mm,
Request for an expedited appointment or an emergency appointment. The embassy will give you a better date so that you can reschedule, and try and join platforms with people who have a common goal. So
mhm,
there are a lot of platforms out there that actually help people to go through this process. And so if you are on one of these platforms, when dates becomes available, when you
mm.
have challenges, you can make inquiries and people will help you out.
Okay, so I
When it
like.
comes to
Go ahead.
Sorry, and when it comes to the service fee payment, you are supposed to generate a coupon. Normally
Mhm,
people are confused as to whether they should use a US address to generate the coupon, or they should use the Ghana, their home country address. So one thing you need to know is that try as much as possible to be consistent with some of these information throughout your documentations. So you use an address when you are applying to the school. You use an address when you are filling out the DS-160. The
mm.
same address should be used when you are trying to generate a service coupon or to pay the service fee. The same address should be used when you are also trying to get an interview date or the appointment portal. So that's how it goes.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. If you are watching and you just joined, thank you so much for joining. This is a live stream with the Fred Effect. He is one of the biggest study abroad content creators in the United States. Right now, he has been able to assist a lot of people do this. And so he's not just talking about things he doesn't know about, he has expert knowledge and he has been doing this for some time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm going to make time for a question and answer session with Fred, and he's going to answer all our questions that we have. So I see people joining me from Ghana. I can see Doreen. I can see Z, Perpetual, my sister. I can see Edna and others. So please, if you are watching and you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. If you are watching me right now, please make sure you share this live stream to other people so they can have access to the information that we have right now. We don't gatekeep over here. We share information and we believe that the sky is big enough for everyone to fill in. And so please like, share, comment, and make sure that people get to know about this. So Thank you for sharing about the visa application process and all of that. So I believe that joining platforms with people who have the same goal, just like you said, I'm reiterating whatever you said, is very important to be able to find dates. So in a case where I've joined platforms, I've done everything, and I'm still not getting a date, my start date is closer. What do I need to do?
So there's an opportunity to go for your interview in another country. So people are going to from Ghana, they are going to Sierra Leone, they are going to Abidjan, as far as Eswatini, Namibia. I know people are going to such countries for their visa interview. It might be expensive for you to do so. So if it is possible and you can still, put in emergency requests, sort of keep on checking the calendar to get a date, please do that. But yes, there's an opportunity to go to a different country if it's difficult for you to find, an appointment date in your home country.
Okay, so I believe that going to another country, is it, do you have to change your visa information or appointment information that you have in your country to that country, or what is the process like if somebody is not finding a date?
So the DS-160 in the first place, when you start to complete it, would ask you which country you intend to attend your visa interview. So that's why you select. So for example, you can select Abuja, Nigeria, or Lagos, Nigeria, Accra, Ghana, in that order. So it depends on the country you want to go for your visa interview. Now, if you've already scheduled an interview date in one country, you need to transfer your details to the other country. Understand that whichever country you're going for your visa interview, that is where you are supposed to pay your visa application fee. And
Mm,
so if you pay a visa application fee in, let's say, Sierra Leone, and now you want to transfer it to Ghana, remember that the earlier one you paid in Sierra Leone will not, qualify you to schedule a date in Ghana. You need to pay another one in the
mm,
country you are going to schedule for the new interview.
mm. So if I perfectly understand what you're saying, that fee is non-refundable regardless of wherever you pay that fee. So if you want to change to another country, you need to pay the fee for that country.
Yeah, so mostly application fees are not refundable. Visa application fees are not refundable. Civis fee, it's not refundable. But the what you get, like if you're able to successfully go through the process, definitely it will be worth the expenditure.
Yeah. So just like Fred is saying, it's worth it regardless of, I mean, if you want something, right, you put in time, effort, and resources to make sure you make it work. So if you're thinking about doing this now, you are very fortunate to have this information. So if you feel like you are not currently financially prepared to do this, you can have some time to prepare. And I believe that doing this ahead of time will also prevent you from running into such challenges of not being able to find a date and things like that. So I'm gonna digress a little bit and ask you if you could talk about what motivates you, because I have known you for quite some time now, and I know that you are consistent with what you do. So I want to find out from you what motivates Fred to be able to always be online, always posting, always every weekend. Like, what is your motivation for assisting people, and what continues to drive you as a person to be able to do this?
So I think the simple answer will be like somebody like you. So I remember there was a time we were talking on phone. I was like, Irene, the network is very poor at your end. Can you please get a stable network so we can talk? Now we are not only talking, we are
Hmm.
live sharing our journey and experiences with to motivate people.
Hmm.
So when I drive to pick people from the airport,
Mm.
the happiness, I meet them. When people send me a picture of their visa and tell me, Fred, God bless you, my visa has been approved. Such things motivate me. The number of people who have actually sent me an invitation for their graduation, even though I've
Mm.
not physically met them before,
Mm.
motivates me. So there was a time I was there, somebody called me, Fred, I don't have anything, but I want to sell you $50. such things motivate me that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people's life have changed. Yeah, there is
Mm-hmm.
no single person I've had opportunity to assist that call me to tell me that, Fred, this abroad that I came, it's not
Mm-hmm.
abroading for me, or it's not working for me. You understand? So the lives that are being changed, the
Mm-hmm.
thousands of people. I remember, like, when I got here couple of years ago, and the number of people I've had opportunity to talk to assess, to inspire,
Mm-hmm.
to motivate, for them to also go through this process. The first person I assisted, he is currently working as an IT personnel at one of the biggest banks in the US. And every time I speak with him, I am super happy
Mm-hmm.
because his life has tremendously changed,
Mm-hmm.
when we had opportunity to interact. And so what motivates me, essentially, as the testimonies, is the fact that people are able to hear about certain schools that they wouldn't have heard of if it wasn't for the Frag Effect platform. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that, I have opportunity to interact with people who would have been more successful, who would have been successful with or without my help. That's what people should understand, that people will be successful with or without your help. So I was born out of wedlock. My dad didn't take care of me. I am
Mm-hmm.
doing good with or without
Mm-hmm.
his help, right? So people would be successful. I mean, people would definitely. When we were not here, people were studying abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as if like we are the people that brought the study abroad thing. No,
Yeah.
so we have the opportunity to be part of people's success stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably make things quite easier for them that wouldn't have been if they were supposed to struggle through. So that's a good question, and the best way to answer is the inspirational messages I receive when I
Mm-hmm.
wake up and somebody has sent me a picture of the visa. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Yeah. I think I like the fact that you hone on the fact that people are going to be successful regardless of if you help them or not. Like, this can obviously be something that God has arranged, or people will be successful no matter what. And sometimes it's the joy of being part of somebody's story. So, like, I sit here today, I'm not even going to be silent about the fact that you helped me get to this point, right? And I'm sure when you hear that, oh, this person is doing well, I contributed to their success story, it gives you the motivation to do more. And so, regardless of whatever it is, people will still be successful, and we need to accept that. And so, just talking about, even if you decide not to take the study abroad route, you are going to be successful wherever you are. But we believe that sometimes it's helpful to have a different environment that would quickly inspire or move you towards the growth ladder. And so this is what we're pushing. This is the agenda that we have. This is what we want people to have. If we have done it, you can also do it. This is not the end for you. So thank you for sharing that. So I think that another question that I want to talk about is, what are some, so you have lived here. When did you come into the US, and how long have you lived here for? I should have asked that.
So I've been here for like more than half a decade,
Ooh,
kind of an OG. So you can imagine having two master's degrees, having opportunity to work at some certain vital places and all that. So I've been here for quite some time,
okay.
more than half a decade.
Yeah. So with your half a decade of experience and you being here doing two masters, do you think that if somebody wants to be here and they want to study, like, doing a first master's and a second master's, do you feel like it should necessarily be in the same program, or just like helping them to decide on what program to do when it comes to their career path or whatever? Because I did hospitality, I'm doing communications right now. Do you think that people need to do whatever they did in their undergrad to be able to be on this journey?
Yeah, so the beauty of graduate school is that you don't necessarily have to do exactly what you studied at a bachelor's. And I mentioned earlier that if you did, a bachelor's degree in mathematics, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to only pursue a graduate program in mathematics. You can definitely and obviously switch to whatever field, a different field at all.
Hmm.
So whatever suits your interest. But sometimes some programs will require certain prerequisites. So for example, with my background in social science, when I wanted to apply for a master's in public administration, they asked me if I have a mathematics and economics background. And fortunately for me, I did. Right.
Mm.
So, certain programs will require that you have certain prerequisites. It's difficult for you to go and do masters in mathematics if you don't know what calculus is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
struggle in the program. So, it depends on what you studied at a bachelor's degree and what other related program that if you share your transcript with the
Mm-hmm.
HOD, they would advise that, okay, you qualify and then you would succeed when you pursue the program.
Okay. So, regardless of whatever you want to do, you should be able to thrive or do well in a course that has like maybe the same prerequisites or
Mhm.
something similar, so you don't really struggle. So,
Yeah,
regardless of if you did something different, you need to know something about what you want to go into. And I believe,
exactly.
just to add on to that, sometimes it's more or less like your career goal and what you want to do. So
Yeah.
those things also kind of motivate people to learn what programs to choose and things like that. So I think that living in the US for more than a decade, when it comes to adjusting and living in the US, what are some things that you have realized? And if you were to speak about your experiences, because as we sit here, I know most people are concerned about the fact that, okay, you want people to come study abroad. Is it rosy? Is it easy? Like, how is it like? So for somebody who's sitting at home wanting to come study abroad, what do you think are some vital experiences that they need to know before they come in here?
Right. So, the Fred Effect brand is absolutely built on positivity, right?
Mhm,
So, it's very sunny, in Arizona. The
mhm,
heat in Arizona is more than the heat in Bole Bamboy,
mhm,
right? But I wouldn't use my platform to talk about how hot Arizona is going to be. It's very cold when it comes to the Michigan, the Illinois, the Ohio, stuff like New York, Massachusetts. But
mhm,
I wouldn't tell you how cold it is and stuff like that. I use my platform and the opportunity I have to push positivity.
mhm,
So it's not all rosy. It's difficult for anybody to tell you that it's easy. Immediately you come, you get everything that you want. I mean, to be honest with you, when some of us were coming, we thought that we would start shipping cars in the in the first week or first month, right? Build this house. I had,
mhm.
an idea of the house I wanted to build, when I was coming, that immediately I come, my mom should go and buy this land, stuff like that, you know. So it's cool. You're coming to school. There it's just that the
Mhm,
opportunity to school here is a little bit different from where we
mhm,
are from and all that. So to be honest with you, it's not all rosy, but
mm,
it's far better than where I used to be. So if you
mm,
compare Bolly Bamboy, the pictures I took in Bolly Bamboy and now how my pictures look, God has really done well, right? So you know, um we are telling people that it's not like we are sleeping on goals here. It will be
mhm,
difficult and it's a lie if anybody tell you that it's all rosy out here.
mhm,
The environment is new, the air you're
mm,
breathing is new.
mm,
Sometimes some people fall sick for the first 1 year they come because they are not used to such an environment where the water you're taking in, everything is new.
mm,
Sometimes even going to class. I remember in my second master's, I was the only black person in
mm,
my class, and this is Kentucky. And so sometimes when you even talk, your accent, people don't hear you well,
mm,
and stuff like that. So it's not going to be easy, but is it worth it? It's 100% worth it.
mm,
And sometimes when you don't take a certain decision, we assume that maybe that decision might have been better. For
mm,
example, if I had not taken the decision to come and study here, would my life be better back home, back in Bole Bamboy as a teacher? You,
mm,
you know what I mean? So people should understand that it's worth the effort, it's worth the time. If
mm,
not to study abroad, an opportunity to travel to experience a new culture, a
mm,
new place, to see the world from a different angle
mm,
is absolutely worth it.
mm. Thank you for your last words. And I think that everybody there's one thing that travel does. Travel gives you different perspectives, and it opens up your eye and your mind to see things differently. And so if we were to be in Ghana, I'm sure we'd be having different conversation, different we'll be talking about different things that are specific to the Ghanaian culture. Now that we're here, we can make meaningful contributions to conversations about the world and even the United States, even though probably we are not from here, we are not citizens here, but because we have been here, we can contribute. And so that's what we're trying to talk about, and that's what we are trying to encourage people to do. So even if you don't want to study abroad, just have the opportunity to travel. If you get the opportunity to travel, go for it, because your mind eye will be open, you would be open to new things, and you can learn as you go. So thank you for honing on that. And um, I want to talk about the visa application process again. So circling back to that, I know there are people that usually get denied. So denial could be based on certain things. And if someone is in this process and has gained admission and has been denied, what should the person do after they have been denied?
At any point in time, any of us have had one denial or another.
Mm,
There could be a lady you were pursuing, you proposed to her, she denied you. It's one denial. That's fine. You ask somebody for something, the person denied you. That is absolutely fine. That
mm,
does not mean you should not try again. So there is a local saying that says since so far I don't just say
mm,
right? So the fact that you've been denied a visa, it gives you, for me, I see it from a positive angle that you have the experience of being at the embassy. For some of
mm,
us, the first time I got my visa was the first time I am going to the American embassy. I am seeing, how the embassy looks like. That was my first time.
mm,
So if you are going for the second time, you have an experience. You've
mm,
been there before. The kind
mm,
of anxiety and being nervous, it's not the same as you going for the second time. I
mm,
see it as positive. A delay, I look at it as a delay, not a denial. You
mm,
can try again. And to be
mm,
honest with you, there are people who got it on the second attempt, on the
mm,
third attempt,
mm,
even on the fourth attempt. So if you've been refused, listen, it's not the end of it. It might be just, a mistake on your part or on the viewer's part that got you denied. It is still possible to do it. Apply again, seek for help, ask people to help you refine your answers. And there are mock interviews all over. There are groups to join. There are
mm,
people who have gone through the process. I've had opportunity to get a visa approved twice.
mm,
Have opportunity to link up with former visa officers.
mm,
Seek for help. You'll be fine.
mm. So I like the fact that you just honed that people need to seek for help. If you're denied, probably you and usually most people try to understand what went on if they are denied. Is it possible to be able to tell why you will be denied a visa? Do you think that it's possible to
So
um
luckily, and when it comes to the Canadian visa, you can request for a note which will tell you the reason why the visa officer denied you.
mhm,
When it comes to the US visa, if it's a non-immigrant visa, definitely they will give you the 214B document. That
mm,
document is a generic document given to everybody who has been refused. So some of the reasons may be in there, but if you're lucky, the visa officer may tell you that this is the reason why you are being refused. So you
mm,
can work on that. The next thing is that if you pay close attention to how your mannerism were, you responding to the questions, the environment, the facial expression of the viewer, you may be able to tell a
mm,
certain punchline that got the viewer to say that I wouldn't give you the visa.
mhm,
So, if you're able to sort of it's difficult, it's easier said than done. But
mhm,
if you're able to do that, it increases your chances. And also finding out, what has changed,
mm,
right? I spoke with one visa officer and he was telling me that, the definition of craziness is doing one thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
mhm,
So you need to change something in your second attempt or in your next interview to increase
mhm,
your chances of
mhm.
getting approved.
Mhm. So, to summarize what Fred has said, I know there might be some viewers who might not understand the proverb or the adage or the saying that he used in the beginning. He said that if you have been carried away by water, it doesn't mean you're not going to drink water again, right? It's just a circumstance that happened that led to you being carried away by water. But if you were able to survive that incident, you can drink water again and you can obviously live again. So try again. It's not the end of the world. And I think it's also important that you talk about the fact that sometimes you need to pay attention. And so if you're paying attention and you're being very attentive to the interview process, you can be able to tell and sense that at this point in time, I gave a response that didn't really sit well with the VO. That's why they denied my visa. So pay attention and try again. It's not the end. Maybe it's not just time, right? Sometimes time also does a whole lot of things. And just be built on positivity, because at the end of the day, you need to try again. It's worth it to take this journey. So try again. I have a few questions. I have some people who are in the studio, which I would bring on if they have questions they want to ask you. But if, again, to reiterate this, if you are not following my channel, you're not subscribing to my channel, please do. My name is Irene Lutrot. I'm currently, as at the time of recording this interview with Fred, I'm currently a master's student in the United States pursuing a master's in communications. And my channel is mostly based about sharing my experiences and also trying to put out a message out there that everyone can be on this journey. We don't need to kind of compete with each other. There's room for everyone to strive and be successful abroad. And so this is the agenda that I'm pushing. So please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and you like and share this video. So I have a few comments, a few questions in the comment section. I'm going to read out later on. But Fred, I want you to talk about, you talked about some services that you render to people. So let's talk about the Fred Effect brand and what you do. So, what are some of the services that you do, and how can people reach you if they want you to assist them in this journey?
Yeah, I appreciate this, and thank you for asking. So, please, if you are watching me, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to Irene's channel. Please click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. It's absolutely free. We need a lot of people to be clicking on the like button for us right now. So, it's easier when people have gone through the process and they are sharing their experiences with you. It makes it easier for you that this person knows what she's talking about. She's there, she's doing it. And so I can also do it. So Irene, because I sort of had it not too easy when I was coming. It was
Mm-hmm.
difficult to get in touch with people. And shout
Mm-hmm.
outs to Isaac, shout outs to Augustine. These are people. Shout outs to I don't want to forget Essie. She's currently in Texas. These are people who assisted me very well when I was coming. Shaibu,
Mm-hmm.
shout outs to him as well. So because it was not that easy going through the process, and especially getting my visa, not getting money for plane ticket, having my visa for like a month, it was a struggle getting, a plane ticket. Shout outs to Best Mark, he was super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I when I came, I decided to help my study group members. I had a study group back in UCC
Mm-hmm.
called the Serious Minded Group, and almost everybody is here. Dorcas, almost everybody is here.
Shout
So
out to Dorcas.
shout out to Dorcas, and in Arizona. Yeah, so I decided that I'm going to assist my study group members. So I was chatting with everyone, but it got to a time it was difficult for me to keep up. So I
Mm,
decided to create a WhatsApp group. And
mm,
then as time goes on, people were inviting people. It became a lot in the group.
mm,
So one of the people I had opportunity to assist, shout outs to Kingsford Onyina, he's doing great. And
mm,
then when he came, he started the YouTube channel. And
mm,
so we're sharing ideas. I was pushing him, stuff like that. And then he said, okay, why not also start one? And I was like, no, I want to be at the backstage,
mhm,
helping. I don't want to put my face out there. I'm a shy
mm,
person, stuff like that. So somebody ordered this is a very special person ordered a tripod, and then ordered a microphone and told me to start shooting a video. Shout outs to her. And then I started working on that video and putting it out there. Now, because I've already been assisting a lot of people behind the scenes, I've had, like, every year I create 4 different platforms,
mm,
and this is like more than half a decade ago. And then the first platform is for mock interview. The
mm,
second one is when you get your visa approved, and then
mhm,
we assist you with other things. So I create one for fall semester, I create one for spring semester. So I have been doing this until Kingsford Onyina, came started the YouTube. Proud to him, people who have started the YouTube wasn't going very well, right?
mhm,
And so I created the channel, and now I was amazed by the support and stuff like that, because I had opportunity to interact and then help a lot of people behind the scenes who
mm,
didn't even know how I looked like, right?
yeah.
opportunity to pay people's flight ticket, pay service fee, pay visa application fees and stuff like that. So when I started the YouTube, to be honest with you, I was amazed by how it shot up.
Mm.
Now the brand has become huge. People want to interact with me. I am willing to help as many people as I can.
Mm.
Remember, I was born out of wedlock. Somebody took me to school for free. I had my visa. I didn't have money for plane ticket. People assisted me. So I'm 100% willing to give back. But the people became a lot, and now everybody want to talk to Fred.
Mm.
So I'm willing to share my ideas and experience, especially on my live sessions. But
Mm.
there is limited time that everybody have, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
if you and when Irene contacted me by then, there was no YouTube channel, right? So I had to assist Irene for free. But now, having that experience going through the process,
Mm.
having two master's degrees, getting the visa approved twice, having connections with visa officers, having the opportunity to assist a lot of people who have been successful, like
Mm.
Irene, I have gained the experience and the track record. So
Mm.
if you want to interact with Fred, unlike Irene getting in touch with me for free, now it's not, right? So I do have a mentorship program. I do have a means by which you can get in touch with me via Instagram or any of my live sessions. Or if you want to interact with me one on one, 30 minutes, there is a payment to be made. You schedule that, and then we
Mm.
can get to talk. Now, Irene is a testament of what Fred can do. So
Mm.
it's not like, okay, he doesn't know what he's saying, he doesn't know
Mhm.
what he's talking about. So if
Mhm.
you want to go through the mentorship program that I took Irene through, then
Mhm.
there is a need to sign up for it, and then we can help you through. So at the moment, as I speak, my platform, which the WhatsApp platform I create almost every year, has
Mhm.
over 500 people, which we are assisting, hopefully to for all of them to get their visas approved. My
Mhm.
team, if you want to apply for a bachelor's degree and you have a high school or diploma qualification, we will work on your application for free.
Mm.
So the most important thing is schedule a one-on-one conversation. We'll explain the entire process for you, and we are the only team helping people for free, like you
Mm.
taking your document and will
Mhm.
apply for a bachelor's degree as a transfer or a freshman student for free. So
Mm.
I appreciate the opportunity to market myself.
Yes. So I would also take this opportunity to also market myself. So if you are from Fresh platform and you are here watching, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share, and also let's kind of build off of what Fred is doing. So I must say that if not for Fred, I would not be sitting here. I don't know why Fred's camera is off, but I know my parents are watching. Mr. and Mrs. Lutrot, they are watching right now, and they know how you have been part of my
Shout out to
journey,
mom and dad.
but they have never seen you before. So this is the opportunity for them to see who Fred is. They know Fred, they hear about Fred all the time, but they have never seen. I have a sister, Savia, who's also kind of also wanting to start this journey. So she's also watching, and um you have been very instrumental, even starting my YouTube channel. So guys, if you don't know, if I want to do something, Fred is the person that pushes me. It's like, Irene, you need to start your YouTube, you need to start this channel. And I'm always giving excuses. But I feel like at this point, I believe that there's also some kind of joy that comes with impact and helping people do what they do. So he's offering all these services for free. But just like we are busy here, you need to be able to put in some kind of financial commitment to get these services. And just like he said, he does applications for bachelor's and undergrad graduates, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And also helps people prepare for their mock interviews, which I also have had the opportunity to be on those sessions for some time. So these are the things that Fred does, and this is what access you can get if you want to have to start this journey. I have some people in the studio. I want to bring on. I don't know if Felix is willing to come on. I'm going to add him. If he can turn his camera on, if he has a question or anything, he can go ahead and ask Fred whatever question. So, Felix, I'm bringing you on. Please unmute yourself and turn on your camera so we can talk to Fred. Is Felix ready to? Okay, if he's not, I'm going to. I have a question here from. I have a question from Barbara Deuce. So she says that I'm 39, almost 40. I got admission at a school in the US. I was told that at my age, I should have my own funding when I go to the embassy instead of someone supporting me. How true is this?
So Irene, to be honest with you, I'm super happy that 39 and then close to almost 40, you still want to do this. It's great that to let people know that age is not a limit. Age is not, a factor that should pull you down. So it depends on what documents you send to your school for your I-20 to be released. Now, what happens is that the embassy do not have specific requirements when it comes to financial statement. It is your school that requires a financial statement in order to release your I-20 for you to, start a visa process. So if your school accepted the statement you sent them or the financial document you sent them, then all you need to is to prepare your answers around whatever question will be asked and you're good to go.
Okay, so Barbara, there you go. Fred has just explained what you need to do. So there's Evans who I'm gonna bring on into the studio to ask a question if he wants to. Yeah. So
Hello,
please,
Fredington. Good evening from Ghana.
please go ahead.
This is Evans from Ghana. Please,
Evans,
I need some
mhm.
clarity on financial support with document.
What exactly do you need? Please go ahead. He's listening.
Yeah, bro, please go on.
I hope the network is not messing up. Okay, let me bring on Makafui Suzy. Um Makafui, do you have a question for Fred? Oh, okay. So let me there's another question here from the studio um in the comment section, and this is from Linda. So Linda, before I read your comments, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel and let me read your question. But anyways, Linda says that, hi Irene, I'm Linda. I live in the US. I have a degree in education and want to do LPN with scholarship in nursing. What are the chances? Fred, what do you think?
Yeah, sure. It's highly possible. He said she said she has a degree in what?
Education and wants to do an LPN.
Yeah, so she can start with an associate degree or walk straight into a bachelor's degree, depending on which state she is and which university she wants to apply to. So it's highly possible.
Okay, so are there some specific universities that you would recommend if people want to go into, or that's like a private section pay for kind of thing? Are there some universities you would recommend that admit students? Because I think that one of the challenges that most people face is like finding a school. So
Hmm.
what school would I find? Why, like, am I going to be admitted and things like that? What are your tricks and tips on finding schools that would admit you?
So make life easy for yourself. Make Google your friend. So
Mhm.
whatever program. So for example, you want to study masters in public administration. Universities in the USA that has masters in public administration with funding.
Mm,
Now you go to their website. That is where you start talking to the director. When it comes to bachelor's degree, I would highly encourage people to focus on private institutions. But
mm,
when it comes to graduate programs, masters and then a PhD, government funded institutions and some private institutions will offer you a good offer when it comes to funding and all that. So whatever program you want to apply, maybe you have family members in a specific state, you can easily Google that, and then that will pull up some of the universities. We have something we call land grant universities.
mm,
Those are public funded universities that have a lot of funding, so you can just Google them. And then in terms of undergrad, there's a word, it's called need blind universities.
mm.
So need blind universities and colleges. When you Google them, these universities have a lot of scholarships that you can apply to.
Okay, so there you go. Their land grants need blind. Make Google your friend. Just broadly Google and search for universities that admit students with what you want to do in the US, or maybe best schools, or maybe what is that admission rates for this university so that you can be able to find what works for you. So I have two questions again from Joseph and Dido. So before I read the question again, please go and subscribe.
Yeah,
subscribe,
you have to.
subscribe to my channel and let me
Really.
read your questions. But anyways, Joseph says that what are the chances of getting admission since I got a supervisor and put a formal application to the school?
Yeah, your chances are high. I wish you all the best. Let's hope for a positive feedback once you've already applied to the school.
Okay. So if you are in the if you want to be brought on to ask a personal question, please send me a message and I can do that. There's also another question from Dido Solomon. He says that Fred, please, I'm applying to a school in Michigan, but they are requesting financial statements before I can get admission. Does it require to all schools?
So I already have such a personal experience. You had a full scholarship, but your
Mm-hmm.
school required that you upload a bank statement during the
Mm-hmm.
application. So some universities require that, just for the application purposes. And once you gain admission, you definitely get a scholarship.
Mm. Okay, so they are saying that I've subscribed to your channel long ago. Thank you for subscribing. Um, Barbara says that to explain further, I'm yet to send financial documents to my school for I-20, and it's from a cousin in the US who will be supporting me. So I think she just wants you to get more context to what she's talking about. So, um, let's move on to the challenges that you face as a mentor, as someone who is assisting people. What are some of the things that have been a challenge for you? Because I beg to differ, but I don't believe that this mentorship thing has been very rosy for you. So, what are some of the challenges? What are some things that people do that you broadly want to put out there today on my channel, on here, that this is what you do?
Right. So
Yeah.
the first thing has been people not being self motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that there are some people that I see their results are super great, and
Mm-hmm.
then you are excited that okay, I really want to help this person,
Mm-hmm.
but the person does not put in the effort and the level of seriousness you would expect the individual to put in. So to be honest with you, anybody who have had the opportunity to study abroad, really put in the effort. To be honest with you, everybody really put in the effort. I remember there was a time I told Irene that if she's not willing to pay this application fee, she shouldn't call me again. So,
Oh my god.
if she, so it is appreciative to know that the effort you put in really pays off,
Mm,
right? So there are individuals that life happens that when along the line during the mentorship something happens in life, maybe they lose a family member, they are not financially strong, they wouldn't communicate back to you and all that. So there are people that have really spent money on pay
mm,
everything, and when it gets to the visa interview they tell me, Fred, I can't go for the interview. So
mm,
it's people understanding that you know it's possible you can do it.
mm,
Somebody, you can force a horse to the riverside, you cannot force it to drink. So people knowing that, in as much as you are motivating them, they have to be self-motivated to know that they want this for themselves. Not that Fred wants me to travel, not that Fred wants me to study abroad, but
mm,
I want to study abroad. And so
mm,
if you have that tenacity, if you have that level of seriousness, you know that it is possible for you to do it, then you can. So the next challenge has been time, trying to combine my academics, my
mhm,
personal life,
mhm,
with trying to give out information. I manage
mhm,
about 5 different content platforms on my
mhm,
own. The time to do all that, managing assignments,
mhm,
project works, classes, with
mhm,
with all that, it's not been easy. And
mm,
to be honest with you, sometimes it's super stressful.
mhm,
But we thank God for life, we thank God for a support system, we
mhm,
thank God for people who are around us, who keep on motivating and pushing us to go through.
mhm. I think it's important that you mention these things because even I have not been in this process for a long time. With my personal experience, sometimes you have people reaching out to you, oh, hey, I want to do this. And you are like genuinely excited that you want to push people because you know at the end of the day, it's not easy, but being here will be better than being back home. And so you are excited to assist people, give information, but then you realize that when you start, people don't meet you with the same energy, and sometimes you have to force people, and it's like, oh, like, I mean, this is you see the need to do this right before someone kind of meets you halfway to be able to help you. So sometimes if you don't do that, you make the work very difficult. And also talking about the fact that we are in different time zones, people do different things here. People have school, they have work, they have their personal life, they have other things that they're doing in their lives. And so I think that sometimes people need to be patient with inquiries, questions, messages, and things like that, because sometimes you might want me to look at something for you, but I also have a deadline with school, which is the most important thing. This is why I am here. And so please be patient with us. And if you are on this mentorship journey, please make sure that you are graceful to the people that are assisting you, especially for Fred, who has been doing this for free for a long time. And I can imagine that if you were supposed to charge me at that time, honestly speaking, honestly speaking, I don't think that I would have had money to pay, because as he was saying, he was waiting for 559. I was also waiting for 559. And so please be patient and be kind to us, especially since we are not in the same time zone and have different lives and things like that. So Fred, I think that Evans wants to join again and ask his personal question. So Evans, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening once again. I really
Yes,
appreciate
please
it.
go ahead.
I'm Evans from Ghana. Sorry, I lost connection at first. Please, my question has to do with financial documents that the people
Oh
find.
my god, we can't hear you.
Hello, am I coming through now?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. As at the time I was submitting my documents for the school for the I-20, it was around January. So the financial proof I sent was
Evans, can you please speak up?
okay. Hello, am I coming through now?
Yes.
Okay. So the financial document I sent, that the statement was from July 2023 to January 2024. Now, my situation is I have my interview in somewhere in July. Is it prudent that I sent the same bank statement I used for the school to the embassy for the interview, or I should
Please let me know if
provide
you
a
can hear
different?
him, Fred.
Is it
So
not
I
coming
am
through?
finding it difficult to hear Evans. I don't know why, but
Okay.
Okay.
So
Let me repeat it again.
oh, go ahead. Please speak up. Please speak up.
Okay. So I was saying that as at the time of my application, it was
Mhm.
around January. And the financial document I sent, that's the bank statement dated from July 2023 to January 2024. That's a 6 month statement. By now, I have my interview somewhere in July. Is it
Mm,
prudent that I sent this same bank statement to the embassy for the interview, or I need an
mm.
updated one? If I need an updated one, between which range do you recommend I send to the interview? That's my question.
Okay, I think to reiterate what he said, if you were struggling, he was trying to find out that the financial statements he submitted for his application, I think there has been some time that has passed. Can he submit the same thing? Otherwise, what can he do? Evans, did I reiterate your question correctly?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
so yeah,
okay. So can he submit the same thing for the interviews? Or why he's asking?
yes.
Yeah, so just like I indicated earlier, the embassy do not have specific requirements on what document to submit. It's your school that has that. So as much as possible, not only your financial statement, you would want to get updated documents. So even if it's your certificate and you have an updated one, please use that. But at least you should have a statement that is within at least 3 months, which is absolutely fine. But understand that the embassy do not have specific timeline requirement when it comes to financial statement. Your school did, and once you have your I-20, if you are able to lay hands on an updated one, great. If you don't be so much worried about that.
Okay, so someone is asking if they can enroll in in other school and change school when they get here.
Yeah, obviously, there's something we call service transfer. So I have changed schools. When the first university I came into is not what I just graduated from. So yes, when you get here, the most important thing is getting admission to that school. you don't have to come and stay before you wait to change. You need to be within the limits in terms of the 30-day limits that you're supposed to start school. So yes, you can.
Okay, so thank you, Eugene, for your comments. Eugene is asking, oh, I think it's open spaces. He's the one that asked if he can enroll in another school. Okay. So someone also says that, Irene, what does it mean that anyone who wants to support with the financial documents would definitely make payments out of his or her account, even if you get a scholarship, be it partial or funding? I don't know how clear that question is.
So the financial statement is only to prove to the university that you have a sponsor who is willing to sponsor you. And I know a lot of people have these challenges that they want a financial statement from somebody. The person thinks that they're going to, be deducting the money. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. So if you get scholarships, it means that there's no need for them to ask you for the payment.
Okay. So someone is also saying that when you're responding to questions from the VO, is it advisable to use hand gestures or any tips? What do you think?
It depends on the interaction and how you talk as an individual. So, for example, when I was there, I am a short person, so I was standing on something, but there was no way I could still bring my hands up. It would look like I'm throwing my hands around because I could only put my document on the counter and sort of put my hands there, but there was no way. Even if I made hand gestures, it would be
Mm-hmm,
beneath the counter, and so he wouldn't see. So to give you an idea, if you're going to Ghana for your interview, the
mm-hmm,
embassy looks like a bank,
mm-hmm,
and so they are the visa officers are sitting there as tellers, and just like going to any bank, you are in a queue, and so you stand in front of the teller. That's how it looks like. So it depends on how tall you are. You may not be able to even make hand gestures.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So this is very context specific and personality related. If you're short
exactly.
and you cannot meet up to the BO's counter, just be yourself and just talk. But I don't relatively see where you can be using hand gestures or um, things all the time. So please make sure that you check on that. Augustine wants to ask a question, so he's in the studio. So Augustine, I'm gonna unmute you, and then you can go ahead and ask your questions. MBN, please subscribe to my channel. I see you have a question, so subscribe and let me ask your question for you. Augustine, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Please, good afternoon. I hope you're very fine.
I'm very fine, thank you.
Okay. I'm currently in Portugal, pursuing my PhD in communication studies. But of course,
Oh,
I intend to bow out
oh,
and then continue with the program in the U.S.A, particularly at the University of Rochester.
okay.
Um, so I actually wanted to ask, with respect to my impending, interview here in
Mhm.
Lisbon. Uh, what kind of advice do you actually have for me in terms of likely questions, or how I should actually go by my visa proposal and all that?
All right. So it's great that you have gotten a date, gotten admission. University of Rochester, great university in New York. My advisor actually graduated from that university. So yeah, it's a great university. So when it comes to what questions to expect, it depends on your profile. So what program are you going to study? Where are you going for your interview? Why are you not attending the interview in your home country? Are you a citizen of Portugal? What
Mhm.
brought you there? How would you be able to show home ties when you have stayed in another country for some time? Have you returned to your home country? Do you hold citizenship? What category of visa are you on in Portugal and stuff like that? So it would depend on your profile, how your DS1 still looks like. Most questions are going to come from there, and obviously how your I-20 looks like.
Okay. So
Okay.
Augustine, thank you for asking a question. I'm also a communications major person, currently in the US, so studying. So I think just your normal, just to add on to what Fred is saying, just your normal communication tips, like if you can answer questions correctly, accurately, concisely, and things like that. And I I think that you should be able to be to do well with this. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Um, so NBN is asking. She said, "I had a so somebody wants you to do like a comparative advantage of studying in the US and studying in Canada."
So this is how I always answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
If wherever you're moving to is better than your current location, don't make comparisons. So
Mm,
if you have a Canadian visa and you have a US visa, then we can have a conversation where you want to go. But when you're
mm-hmm.
starting the process, remember there's no country that has a 100% visa approval. And
Mm,
so, there's no guarantee that 100% your US visa will be approved. That's what we all hope for. But there's no 100% guarantee that your study permit to Canada will be approved. So if you have the effort, the time, if you have the time, the resources to pursue the two, please get them. Once you have these two visas, then we can have a conversation.
mm. There you go. So another question from MBN says that she says she has a GPA of. So I want you to address the question of GPA. What GPA do you feel like is a good GPA to be able to apply or get admitted into? Are there any restrictions? Do you feel like maybe I got a lower in the past, so I cannot? Like, what do you think?
Irene, I like your line of questions, smart lady. Okay, so I think that everybody goes to school to get the best as possible, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so your current CGPA, there's no going back to school to change it or anything like that. So whatever CGPA you have at the moment, you can use that. Don't let anybody intimidate you. I
Mm,
do not necessarily have to have the same CGPA with Irene to study
mm-hmm.
school I'm studying at or to study in a program I'm studying at. So if you're in school, we would encourage you to please study hard, study well,
Mm,
study seriously to get the best out of it. Everybody writes an exams to get the best. However, whatever CGPA you graduated with, there is always an opportunity for you. So I have had opportunity to assist people with a first class CGPA of maybe 3.9 up to people with 2.0. Now, if you have such a CGPA, you know that the effort you're going to put in wouldn't be the same as somebody with a first class. And don't be swollen headed if you have a first class. Remember,
mm,
getting admission abroad does not only depend on your transcript and for that matter your CGPA. There are
mm,
other contributing factors. So your recommendation letter counts, your
mm,
SOP counts, your resume counts. So if you have a low CGPA, the point is that do not underrate yourself. There are lots of other avenues, means, and ways that you should go by your application in order to get admission and scholarship, just like somebody with a first class. You cannot only use your transcript
mm,
to apply to a university. You cannot only use your CGPA to apply to a university.
mm,
There's a combination of document. If you're a
mm,
human being and you have one finger cut off, that does not make you less of a human being. If
mm,
you're a human being, you don't have a CGPA as required by a certain school. That does not mean other schools will not admit you.
mm,
So there are ways and means to go about it. Motivate yourself. That is the
mm.
CGPA you have. We cannot do anything about it. How do we work around the process so that at the end of the day you get admission? Would you be the first person with a low CGPA to get admission abroad? No. Would you be the last person? No. Have people done it? Yes. Can you do it? Yes. Is it easy? No. Can you do it? It's possible.
Okay, I like the back-to-back synergy over there. And I think just to add on to what Fred is saying, so different educational contexts requires different experiences. So just like he's saying, sometimes your CGPA doesn't have to be everything that the graduate admission committee is looking out for. I have had the opportunity to join a graduate committee as a master student representative for my university, and I can tell you that when we're sitting in there with graduates admission officers and graduates, other students who decide who gets to get into the program, we are not only looking for CGPA, we are looking for experiences, so work experience. We're looking for maybe if you have contributed to any volunteer program, like what is your vision? Where are you going? What are you going to do with the program? What problem are you going to solve? And so, as somebody who has been on the graduate admissions committee, I can tell you that your CGPA is not the only thing that can qualify you to get admission into a university. Sell yourself out there, market yourself, whatever experiences you have, use that as an advantage and a leverage to talk positively about yourself, so that even if it's something very little, something that you feel that it's not important, the ways in which you talk about things would make people believe you. So just to add on to what Fred is saying, you don't need to have a first class or second class or something. Just use what you have to your advantage and market yourself, sell yourself as someone who is able to be admitted into the program. So just to add on to that.
Right. So when it comes to studying abroad, understand that nobody has a smooth path. Nobody has a smooth journey. Somebody's challenge will be the network, even like myself, Bole Boy, the network to even respond to emails. Somebody's challenge could be the finances, and which is most people. Somebody's challenge is their CGP. Another person's challenge is that they have all it takes, but their family is not and sort of supportive for them to even study abroad. Somebody's challenge may be that they are very intelligent, but they cannot speak, so they are scared. How do they even do interviews, graduate assistantship interviews and all that? Listen, there's nobody who had it in a perfect way. Did I get admission to a school? I did some universities reject me? Yes, some universities reject me. I was even applying to Hungary. I didn't get in there.
Mm,
So, when it comes to this process, then there would always be a challenge.
mm,
And that is life. There's always a challenge. Nobody's having a smooth sail, but it is possible for you to do it. If Irene was able to do it, you can do it. If Fred from Bole Bambo was able to do it, you can do it.
okay, so I have, I think we're gonna pick a few questions and we're gonna leave Fred to go. I wish we could do this forever, but we're gonna schedule another time if he has time, if he wants to do this with me and kind of come back and talk about things that are going. I can see a lot of questions coming in, and I'm so excited that people are taking the initiative to not be silent about their situations and ask questions. And so, I guess is I forgot, but there's one person in the studio who wants to ask a question. So Clemens, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Fred and Sister Irene.
Good evening.
Please, my question is that I've gained admission to University of Rochester in University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, and I've been teaching for the past 9 years. And then the program I got into was business administration.
Mm,
So I was asking that in filling my DS 160, can I ignore the teaching aspect and go with the business aspect, which I own a barbering shop, 2 barbering shops in Ghana, and I've registered the business in 2019. Can I use that in filling the DS 160 since the program is in business administration, so that I can cut off the teaching aspect from my story?
mm. Any comments, Fred?
So it depends on whether you've ever been to the embassy before or not. Now,
I've not been to that place before.
remember that whatever you put in your DS 160, there are repercussions to it. So it depends on how you want to build your story. So normally people would want to be consistent with what they studied versus what they are doing and what they are going to study. So you have to know what story you want to carry over there, and also be consistent with that. Whatever you put in your DS 160, there may be questions around it. Be prepared to respond to those questions.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much.
So, your story is your story to tell. Whatever route you want to take, make sure that there is consistency and coherence in whatever information that you have on your DS 160 and the personal story that you're telling. Because as you're speaking, your DS 160 has been opened and they're checking to see if there are any discrepancies or nuances in whatever you are talking about. So, please decide on which route you want to go. Um, I think that Fred, do we what do we do?
Yeah, so I think we've done almost 2 hours. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
been a great session.
Yeah, it's been a great session. Last question. What would be your advice? I know you have spoken a lot about this, and what would you want to tell somebody who is sitting in Ghana, probably sitting somewhere and is thinking, like, is it worth it? Do I do this? Do I need money to do it? How can I start? What can I do? What are your final words for someone who wants to embark on this journey?
So here's the thing. If you're watching us, understand that where you are is where myself and Irene came from. So if you are watching us, you understand that if we were able to do it, it's possible for you to also do it. Now, if you don't have anything at all, please start contacting that professor to look for your recommendation letters. If you don't have a passport, start working on one today. If you are waiting to graduate from school and then you have the intention to study abroad, please start looking for recommendation letters. Start, requesting for your passport. If you've been in the house for a very long time, you think that there's no hope for you. Understand that if Fred, who was born out of wedlock, I have to be taken care of by someone, did national service in Bole Bamboy. Getting to the embassy was my first time going there. And I tell people if they deny me that day when I came from Bole Bamboy, there was a gutter close to the embassy. I would have been lying in it. Now, if you see some of the pictures I posted when I was a national service personnel at Bole Bamboy, you know, you see me now, you see that there has been changes. We are not saying everybody should come and study abroad, but it is highly possible. Don't give up. Everybody who has gone through the process have a different story to tell. Their stories are motivating. Listening to some of them is going to motivate you, inspire you for you to get this done. Now, it might be scary if you are preparing for a visa interview. You wouldn't be the first person to be at the embassy. Everybody, most people that you see abroad, they all went through the same embassy. They went through the same similar process. Don't be intimidated by people who have negative stories and also get denied. Remember, if we want us to scare you, it is possible. It's very cold, it's very hot, whatever. It's going to be expensive. It's scary. It's not possible. Don't let people who have negative vibes. If you want to kill your dream, you discuss it with somebody who
Mm,
has a small mind, right?
mm,
If there are some people they feel like because they couldn't get the visa, you cannot also get the visa.
mm,
There are some people behind the scenes. I was discussing with Irene that there are some classmates of us that think that they should have been better than us.
mm,
We are not smarter than you are. In fact, there were some people in our class who were more brilliant than we do. If we're
mhm.
talking about people who are supposed to come abroad, Auntie Amaba is not supposed to be part of it. The Bollywood boy was not supposed to be
Tisha
part of it.
Matiba is not supposed to be here.
So it is possible you can do it. It is highly possible. And to be honest with you, we have our own fair of challenges. But
Mhm.
to be honest with you, there has been growth, there has been changes. Things have changed since we had opportunity to move here. And Irene, I appreciate your time. Please subscribe to the channel, click on the like button. It's actually free. Let's all support. I will be coming live from time to time to respond to your question. So please subscribe to the channel so that anytime we come here, you'll be the first person to be notified, and you can check out the videos and educational content, the inspirational content we put out here. I
Um,
appreciate your time, and
Someone is
very
asking how you
excited
can
to
be
be here.
contacted.
Yeah, so you can get in touch with me via Instagram. That's the quickest way to get in touch with me. Across all my social media platforms is the Fred Effect. Instagram verified. We have over close to 60,000 on Facebook. So if you send me a message on Instagram, I would be happy to respond. But if you're having a high school diploma qualification, um, I wanted to talk about this real quick, Irene.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Back in Ghana, if you have a D7 or E8 in your WASI results, it might be challenging to even attend any university or gain admission. Guess what? In the US, there are a lot of schools that you don't even have to pay application fee that will
Mm,
give you admission and scholarship. So what my team is doing is to give hope to people who feel like life has ended for them because they didn't get through the WASI. They are supposed to go and ride on deck. Their friends are going to school. They are not going to school. If you have a D7, E8, even if you have some results with health, even with F9, there are some universities that would still admit you. So what my team is doing is to try and give hope to people, such people. If you have a good grade, that is perfect. So you schedule a one-on-one meeting with a Fred Effect team. We will take your document and work on undergraduate application for you for free. So what you pay for is the meeting that you have to meet with us so that we explain the entire process, for you to understand before we begin. And now we've done over thousands of people already for this semester, and we are hoping that they get their visas approved. So it's been an honor being here. I'm really tense. I wish I could go on and on. I
Yeah,
appreciate your
yeah.
time, Irene. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much.
you so much. I do appreciate your time, your efforts, and personally to say this on this platform that you have been like a change tool in my life personally, and you keep on pushing me to do more, go further ahead. And sometimes I wonder why you believe in me so much. I'm like, I mean, I don't see myself that way, but thank you for the help, not to myself alone, but to many people, giving hopes and um bringing people's dreams alive. Thank you for today. I really appreciate the time, effort, and God bless you so much. So I'm going to take you off and I'm going to wrap up the interview today. So thank you everyone for watching. If you watched, if you shared, thank you. If you were able to ask a question, if your question was not being able to be answered today, please, I'm gonna make some time again next time to ask your questions. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, as I will be doing this often, not only bringing on Fred, but other people who have been through this process, not necessarily people who are in the education route, but people who live abroad just to share their experiences and to give you hope and an inspiration that it's possible to do this. It doesn't have to be something that you think is not possible. If people like me, myself, and other people, Fred from Bole Bamboy, has been able to do it, you can do it. We are not saying that this is the only route for you to be successful. Everyone can be successful in whatever route you choose. And just being the Christian girl that I am, if you believe in God, wherever God plants you, you will succeed. And so please don't give up on your hope of traveling abroad. Please stay proactive and stay active and make sure that you carry out this dream and make sure you bring it to a successful end. And so thank you today for joining. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share the video. Please make sure that you're engaging with my comments and my contents that I post out there. And I'm going to come your way again with something different the next time. So thank you, everyone, and bye for now.